back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 720, and we are here live in Southwest Florida in my beautiful tropical backyard. Sorry for the little bit of delay this morning. We had some connectivity issues. YouTube just wouldn't let me connect for some reason. My Wi-Fi is fine, so looks like fifth time was the charm this morning. I tried 5 times. Anyway, fifth time went through. If you're joining me live, please say hello. If you end up watching the recorded version, please also feel welcome to say hello. Good morning, Grace. Hi, Thea. Hi, Lisa. Good morning. Hi, Judy. Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Hi, Carrie and Rita and Val. Good morning. Hi, Lisa, or Lily and Julie, Constance, Donna, Joe. I missed a name in there. Hi, Sean. Hi, Samantha and Lorraine. Good morning. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Diane. It is a chilly morning for us here today. What a treat. It's like 74, which is so much cooler than it normally is here. Hi, Kathy and Melanie. Definitely don't need the fan this morning, so that's a nice treat. Hi, Barbara and Rennie. Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 720, and we are here live in Southwest Florida in my beautiful tropical backyard. If you're joining me live, please say hello. If you have questions for me, please ask them. And if you want to share what you've been working on over the weekend, I know not only would I love to hear about it, but I know everyone else here in our live community would also love to hear what you're working on. Hi, Carla and Donna, Andrea, Maria, Marcia, missed a few names while I was talking. Geraldine, Rennie, Barbara. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I have been busy all weekend. No surprise there, right? I've been working all weekend. I've got a few updates to show you, including we have newly dyed Be So Cozy yarn. So last week I debuted the fall winter colors for Be So Toasty yarn, which is my #1 fingering weight merino wool and bamboo blended yarn that is super, super, super soft and lofty, has great texture. Well, this is the #4 worsted weight version of that same fiber blend. This is Be So Cozy yarn, #4 worsted weight, 65% merino wool, 35% bamboo. It is so soft and squishy and lofty. It is great for texture, super warm and cozy, obviously. Thanks, Judy, for posting a link to Be So Cozy yarn. I'm going to show you all the colors that I dyed this weekend. And if you go to the video description or in the fixed comments below the video, I've already shared a link to Be So Cozy yarn and a link to all of my #4 worsted weight patterns. So if you're looking for patterns that are either knit or crocheted in this weight yarn, I have a bunch, and I've linked both of those in the comments and in the video description as well. So let's get started showing the colors. These are the same colors that I dyed for Be So Toasty yarn last week, so you may recognize the names. But it's hand-dyed yarn, so obviously it's going to be a little bit different each time, and even still on the thicker yarn versus the thinner yarn, it picks up the dye differently as well. This is Peach Whisper. I should probably leave them open as I do that, yes, because I think people will ask to see them together. These would be great for not only doing a hat, a scarf, a cowl, a sweater, a shawl, all sorts of gorgeous things you can make with this yarn. This is Rose Petal, but how about color work? You could do a 2-color cowl, a 2-color hat. A lot of these colors would look absolutely gorgeous together. This is Orchid, and we can talk about which colors would look nice together as tonal or contrast. We'll do that after I show all the colors. You know, we always like to talk in depth about color when we show new yarns. This is Aqua. I mean, already nothing wrong with any of those combinations either. This is Blue Mist. And this is Gray Flannel. Yes, this does have wool in it, so if you have a wool allergy, which I see several people saying, it's not the yarn for you. But I do have lots and lots of yarns that are animal fiber free, so you could use any of those instead, and I have them in this weight, so even the patterns that I've listed this morning, they could be used in any of my number 4 worsted weight yarns. So that could be So Tender, 100% cotton, or Be So Bold, which is a cotton and bamboo blend. But for those of you that like animal fiber, this is a super, super soft blend of bamboo and merino wool. This is Enchanted Jasmine. Again, all the colors look so pretty even next to each other, don't they? And then here is Periwinkle. I've never been allergic to wool, but I have had irritation from the guard hairs when wool is scratchy, and something like this that is super, super soft, I don't have any issues with at all. This is Cactus Flower. And last but not least, we have Indigo. Oh, Judy's posting links to my other number 4 worsted weight yarns that I've mentioned, so if anybody is excited about this weight but doesn't like this particular yarn, there are other links going up right now. All right, so let's name all of the colors, and then if anybody wants to see a couple side by side, I can do that as well. But as you can see, they all really do look pretty together. So this is Periwinkle and Cactus Flower. Even that looks pretty too. This is Indigo. And Peach Whisper. Rose Petal. All of the photos are already listed on my website, so if you want to see in close-up photos of any of these colors, you can see them there. This is Orchid and Aqua and Gray Flannel, Blue Mist, and Enchanted Jasmine. And like I said, I think that it would be super fun to pick 2 colors to do any type of a stripe or a color work, hat or cowl. Like even if you could stay tonal, like with the Blue Mist and Gray Flannel, or do higher contrast, like the Orchid and Aqua together. You could, I think this is a really neat contrast too. The Cactus Flower with Periwinkle is pretty together, but you could definitely stay tonal too. Like I think Peach Whisper with Cactus Flower is really pretty together if you wanted to stay more tonal, and so is Orchid and Petal Pink, a Rose Petal. Those look really pretty, but then if you wanted a higher contrast, you could add Enchanted Jasmine as your extra color with any of them as well, and that would give you a nice high contrast. Or picking one of the light colors and picking a dark color, so going with Rose Petal or Peach Whisper and then pulling in a Periwinkle or an Indigo or even an Aqua, you could do some higher contrast that way too. So I will set these down now. And for those of you that may be wondering what I'm wearing today, I have on the Sabrina crochet vest, which is a single pattern download or available in layers crochet. It is in Be So Sporty yarn. Comes in lots of sizes. It's a motif project, so it's join as you go, and there's shaping with some triangle motifs along with the square motifs and triangles here to give you some nice shaping, and it laces up the front so you can wear it more closed, more modest in the front, or you could wear it open and draped. That's fine too. If you skipped the chain tassels in front, you could choose to put on a button instead, or you could choose to use a shawl pin or a butterfly clip or any of those other things as well. And I finally got one of my colors of the bodysuit, so I wanted to point out that the bodysuit I'm wearing underneath today is also in my Amazon shop. I know I've shown you the white and black one so far, and I always like to try things out before I end up buying more colors, and I am so in love with this particular bodysuit, which brings me to I showed two bodysuits recently, the black one and then a white one that was a little bit different. It had like a modesty coverage in the front, and then it had a zipper in the back. The zipper did not last on mine. Now I could sew it up for sure, but I also didn't care for the modesty panel in front because for my size bust it wasn't actually big enough, so it kind of cut off at a weird spot, and whether I wore a bra or not underneath, it still just didn't seem like it was a good one. And the one that I had originally bought in black didn't come in white or a bunch of colors. So I found another bodysuit on Amazon that comes in both white and black and lots of colors, and that's the one that I listed in my Amazon shop this weekend, because now that they've started coming in, they're very much like the original black one that I bought, and it comes in lots of colors. So for those of you wondering what size to buy, I'm 5'9", 185 pounds, and this one is a size large, and it fits me just fine. It's tight, but you know, I would like a bodysuit that's form-fitted on me. It's not something I'd want baggy, but it is not pulling in the torso. It's not uncomfortable, so that's important to me. Thanks, Lisa, and I love the color. They called this color peach red. It is definitely a girly Barbie bubblegum pink, and the photo did look pink, but the name says peach red. Yeah, Lisa, when you're wearing a bodysuit, it is really important to know how it fits in your torso. Oh, it also has snaps at the bottom too. For anybody interested about that, oh, somebody wants to see the yarn again. Sure, we can do that. I'll wait a few minutes and do that again. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there's just not enough time in the day, is it? So I was really hoping to whip out a couple of hats this weekend and be so cozy to show you even more ideas for patterns that you could make with this yarn, especially as quick as it works up. It's number 4 worsted weight. You can work up hats really quickly in that weight yarn. And instead, I thought I'd show you some number 4 worsted weight yarns in some of my older books. That way, if you have those books already, you could get started right away. And these are patterns that, in order for me to list them on my website, I will have to rephotograph them in my yarns in order to list the patterns. I'm not allowed to use photos from my old books. They are copyrighted to the publisher and the photographer. So if you happen to have continuous crochet, I wanted to show you a couple of patterns in here that I thought would be fantastic for Be So Cozy yarn because they are made in worsted. Oh, here's a good one too. This one would be great for Be So Toasty. This is in a number 1 fingering weight yarn. Be So Toasty would be fantastic for that pattern. Isn't that a great flower petal pattern? I love the flower petal look of that pattern. So that's called the Heather Plum Chain Flower Hat. If you happen to have this book, you already have that pattern. That would be a great one ball project in Be So Toasty yarn. Then this one is in worsted weight. This is called the Rhythm and Blues Flower Scalloped Hat. This would be a great one ball project in Be So Cozy yarn. It has a beautiful feather and fan chevron over the ears, and then little flowers for little ear flaps. So cute. This cowl would be a great project also. This is also a number 4 worsted weight yarn, and it has a beautiful chevron wave stitch pattern to it that actually works over other rows, so it's a little more dense. This would be very, very warm for winter. Let me see if this is called the Laguna Surf Wavy Striped Cowl. It is a 2-color project in number 4 worsted weight yarn, and I think that would be fantastic for Be So Cozy yarn. So if you already have this book, then you already have these patterns. And oh, here's one that's in Be So Sporty yarn. If you already have this book, this is a beautiful scarf that has a herringbone texture to it. It's called the Mardi Gras Gold Herringbone Cowl. So pretty. That's a one ball project in Be So Sporty yarn. But I thought there were a couple more. I thought there might be another hat. Oh, this is another number 4 worsted weight yarn pattern. This would be great for Be So Cozy. This is the Little Falls Reversible Textured Mobius, and it has a really cool stitch pattern that is totally reversible on both sides, and it's got great texture from post stitches. Now, once I remake all of these patterns, I can sell them individually on my website as well. But in the meantime, if you happen to have the books, this book, any of the books I'm going to show you this morning, let's see, then you could get started on these right away. That might be it for this book, but there are other things in this, other things I wanted to show you still. Okay, that's it for that book. Then I wanted to show you a couple of hats in seamless crochet. I really wanted to get one of these done this weekend, but I just ran out of time. What are you going to do? But these are, I'm going to show you some hat patterns that are all done in number 4 worsted weight yarn, which would, and those of you that aren't super familiar with seamless crochet techniques, even though we just did it on that one scarf, I will be doing these hats, and I will be doing tutorials along with the written instructions to help you along. But this hat, these motifs are joined as you go without cutting the yarn, and this is a number 4 worsted weight yarn pattern. Isn't that great? It's called the lace flower hat. That's one of the ones I was hoping to get to this weekend, but I ran out of time. And so you could make that now with Be So Cozy yarn. And there was another hat. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go, and the Jamie hat. These are motifs that are joined as you go without cutting yarn between the motifs. So no ends to weave in other than the beginning and end of the ball of yarn. And so you could do this pattern with Be So Cozy yarn also. That would be a 1-ball project. So if you have these books, you already have those patterns. And then there's one more hat pattern in this book that I wanted to point out that's also done. I believe this is in worsted weight. Oh no, this is in DK weight yarn. Well, you could, it's a little small on the small side anyway, so you could make it a little larger if you did it in the number 4 worsted weight, or you could end up doing this in, since it is number 3 DK weight, you could make this with Be So Baby yarn also. It has a beautiful post-stitch cable for the brim, and then this is broomstick lace up here. That's broomstick lace offset, which is a little bit different than the projects that I have been working on. And I will show you the patterns that I'm working on in a minute too. So I'm working on 2 new Mobius patterns. I'm shooting for like 18 inches wide by like 36 to 40 inches long to make a flat rectangle, then twisting it one time before seaming, so we have that beautiful flat twist for a Mobius. I'm going for that length of 36 to 40 inches. I think 40 inches is going to work better, because once you put the Mobius on, I want to be able to wrap it a second time around your neck to get one of those huge voluminous cowls also, to have that second, because that size will also sit down on your shoulders and look very much like a capelet. But then to be able to wrap it a second time around your neck will give you that extra styling option of making it a voluminous cowl. So let me show you my progress on those. So and they're both going to be done in, yes, Melody, that is a plumeria tree in my backyard right here. We're about to go into the winter. It loses its leaves and flowers for a couple months in the winter, and that usually happens sometime in November. I think it's done flowering now. The leaves are starting to fall, so it will be bare for a little while, but come spring we will have gorgeous flowers and leaves back on it. But yes, that is a plumeria tree right behind me. And then behind that I have 3 or 4 giant bougainvillea trees back there in a variety of colors. I have purple, coral, red, and fuchsia. So here's my progress on the knit cowl Mobius, and it's done in a wrap drop stitch that we then cluster together on the following row. And this was to replicate what I'm doing in the crochet broomstick lace one. And notice how in that hat I just showed you, the clusters were offset. These are not offset. They are stacked right on top of each other. So totally different look. Well, slightly different look, I guess, but it's going to be fantastic. This is in Be So Sporty Gold in color peach sherbet. You can find that on my website, and I'm using a size US 8 or 5mm knitting needles for that. That one will be a 2-ball project. And then I'm doing a similar version in crochet with a 4mm crochet hook and a 25mm knitting needle to use as my dowel to create, whoopsie, where are we here? I don't want to lose my stitch. There we go. To create the crochet version of it, which is this. It's amazing how similar the two techniques look, isn't it? So I will say, I've talked a lot about knit drop stitches in the past. This is the type of knit drop stitch where you wrap the yarn a couple times before knitting the stitch. Now I've done it in a different way before that I call an elongated twisted drop stitch, and that's where you wrap a couple times around both needles, then wrap your last time around just the working needle, and that drops the extra wraps as you go across the row. There are reasons to do that technique, and that's to keep to have less cumbersome extra wraps on your needles as you go, but it twists the stitches, and for this particular look, I didn't want twisted stitches. I wanted them to be straight, so I had the ability to insert my knitting needle into them to knit into them easily as a cluster. And so in order to do that, I had to do the other type of wrap stitch, which is wrapping around just the working needle the 3 times and knitting it. And then you have those extra wraps that you then have to unravel on the following row. If you're familiar with these techniques, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't worry. I will share them when it is not difficult, Kiranji. It may seem difficult right now, but once you see the pattern and the supplemental video tutorial, you'll see that it's a lot easier than it sounds. So that will be coming soon. Depends on how many other things I have to get done this week. I do have other very exciting things that I'll be announcing this week. A lot to do with the charity Project Kristin Cares, and I'm so excited that we can finally be releasing the new initiative. It won't be today, but it will be soon, and I have most everything photographed, most everything ready to launch, but it'll be this week for sure. And then once I do that, I would really like to dive into more tutorials for how to wash and block with Be So Clean, new liquid soap, and also all the other ways that you can use the soap, because it is such an all-purpose soap. There's so many different ways that we can wash everything around us. Everything that we care about we can wash with Be So Clean soap, and I'm going to show you so many amazing things that you can do with it, starting with washing and blocking your hand knits and hand crochet pieces. So we'll get started on that this week as well, hoping to do something on the podcast so that you have the ability to ask questions live during tutorials. Sometimes I think that is so incredibly helpful, because not only does everybody have more questions than I can even think of, right? But anytime somebody has a question, chances are there's somebody else that has the same question. So we're more alike than we are different, right? So anytime we can do questions on the live stream, it not only helps everybody understand better, but if there's something that I haven't focused on specifically, it can be good real-time constructive criticism to help me make the tutorials even better too. So very excited to tell you about all that as well. And I think the most exciting part of the new charity initiative is that I've finally figured out a way for everybody to be able to participate more in it. In the past, it's always just been what I do behind the scenes, and I finally come up with a way that I can include all of you in the charity initiative. And that's all I'll say about it today, but so exciting. Now, somebody did request to see the colors of the yarns again, so I'll do that. Grab all of these. And these are in stock, ready to ship now. They will be, and just like with all my other yarns, you will not have to wind it. It looks like it's unwound right now, but when an order is placed, we wind the yarn into a center pull ball and include a drawstring organza bag so that you can store it. This is cactus flower and periwinkle. This is Be So Cozy yarn, number 4 worsted weight blend of merino wool and bamboo, 65% merino wool, 35% bamboo. Has incredible loftiness, super soft and cozy. All hand dyed by me. This is indigo. One ball is enough to make most hats, and you could do a nice cowl with 2 balls. This is blue mist. The colors look great together, or you could just pick one color, but any of these colors would look really pretty together. This is orchid and rose petal. There's some great unisex colors in here too. Aqua and gray flannel. I love that color. Love it. I love all of them though. I don't know if I could really pick a favorite. There's lots of great colors in here. Let's get these put that up. And then I will take questions if anybody has them. Man, I do not like seeing me bend over on camera. I've got my laptop right here, so if I look over, it's like I look over as I see myself bending over. Ew. Sorry. Thank you, Samantha. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Oh, I also wanted to point out, notice that the cap sleeve on here, notice how the contrast looks nice. When I wear a skinny strap underlayer, it's nice to wear a longer layer over the top. And the same applies in the reverse. When you have a sleeve, a short sleeve, a 3/4 sleeve, any amount of sleeve on your underlayer, then it's nice to wear a sleeveless option on top. I really think that it's very nice, especially when you like to do things that are sleeveless and you're going to layer. When you're layering anything that's sleeveless, it's always good to contrast the sleeves in the length of the sleeves in the 2 layers. Hi Donna, good morning. Does anybody have any other questions? I have posted links in the video description to Be So Cozy yarn and to my number 4 worsted weight knitting patterns and crochet patterns, so you can browse patterns for the yarn, and you can always shop all of the beautiful yarns on my website. Specifically, Be So Cozy is the one that I showed today. These are brand new colors that are just launching this morning, and you are the first to hear about it. So if there's anything you love, you can grab it now before I list it or before I announce it anywhere else today. All right, I don't see any questions. But thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed all the show and tell, chatting with me and everyone else here. If you like the podcast, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, the red subscribe button's in the corner. You know the rest. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.